If you're looking for a homemade meal idea that is incredibly versatile, consider homemade tortillas. I've had lots of requests to show you how to make my homemade tortillas, so that's what we're going to do in this video. Then I'm going to give you lots of ideas about how you can use your tortillas after you've made them. Hey, if this is your first time with me and you don't know me, I'm Hope. Larry's behind the camera, and between the two of us, we are Under the Median, where every week on this channel we talk about practical frugality. Now, speaking of frugality, the cost for making each of these tortillas comes in at just a smidge over 6 cents per tortilla. Let's get started. All right, you're going to start out with 4 cups of just all-purpose flour. Then you're going to add in 1/3 cup of oil. Doesn't matter what kind of oil you want to use. Olive oil, this is canola oil, whatever oil you want. Just make sure there's 6 tablespoons of it in there with the flour. You're going to add just a teaspoon of salt and then 1.5 cups of water. And that's it, guys. That is everything that's going to go in the bowl. I am going to mix it up here. And once it starts to kind of absorb a lot of that water and form into a ball, that's when we're going to turn it out on the table and knead it just a little bit. You don't need to knead it much, maybe 4 or 5 minutes all together. All right, let me turn this out on the table. Keep a little bit of flour handy just in case you need to add a little bit more to it. Depends a little bit on the humidity in your home and how warm the day is and things like that as to how much the flour will absorb that moisture. All right, let's make sure we get it all in here. We're gonna knead. And I think I'm gonna add just 3 or 4 more tablespoons of flour to this because it's a little bit sticky. You want something that is pretty smooth but not terribly sticky. So give me a hot second. I'm gonna add some more flour. All right, my hands are very floury now. We added about 4 tablespoons of flour to that, and that is perfect. You can see it's not sticking to my hands. It is super easy to knead. We're just gonna knead it until all that flour is incorporated in. And then when we're done with that, I'm going to cover this with a clean, dry dish towel. Just leave it sitting on the table, cover it. And we're gonna cover this for about 5 minutes and just let that dough rest. Okay, our dough is rested for about 5 minutes. We're gonna take one of these cutters. I don't know what you call these. Maybe a pastry cutter. I used it to smash garlic. And we're gonna cut this dough into 16 equal pieces. You might find when you get done that you need to kind of reorganize them. Make sure that all your dough balls are about the same size when you get done. All right, and I just usually form them into balls as I go. And this helps me gauge how big that finished tortilla is going to be. Now, I haven't counted whether I have 16. We're gonna say we have 16, okay? All right, let me show you how to make a tortilla. Now, once you roll them into your balls, if it feels a little bit sticky when you get done, I just keep a little pile of flour there and just gently roll it in the flour. All right, now, I have done this for years. I've rolled these by hand. Yes, you can roll tortillas by hand, but I just got this amazing thing from Balmain. This is cast iron. It's about 20 bucks. Balmain sent it to me so that I could give it a try, and I absolutely love it. Y'all, I'm really enjoying the Balmain tortilla press. It is super easy to use. The tortillas come out the same size, and they also come out even thickness. I'm gonna make sure that there's a link in the description of the video in case you wanna go check it out. Okay, tortilla press, the advantage is, I'm gonna just put that right there. I just cut 2 pieces of parchment paper, guys, that will fit right inside the tortilla press. Press down. I'm gonna pull this back, and it's going to make perfectly even tortilla, and it is going to be the exact same thickness. thickness all the way across the tortilla. And so the advantage of using this parchment paper, if you're going to, let's say, stack these tortillas and cook them fresh for your meal, then you can put the parchment paper between them, just cut a whole bunch of squares of parchment paper, make your tortillas, stack the tortillas between the parchment paper, and they won't stick to each other. But in this case, I'm gonna make them fresh. So literally, I'm just gonna peel it right off of here, and I'm gonna use this parchment paper again and again. All right, we're gonna head to the stove, and we'll show you how to cook it. Okay, this is a nonstick pan. It has absolutely no oil in it. And I am going to peel this tortilla off and just gently lay it in the pan. I've had the pan preheating on high heat for about 2 or 3 minutes before I put that first tortilla in. You're looking for the tortilla to look just a little bit dry-ish on top. And when you flip it over, it should be just, you see how it's just beginning to brown there? It could have used another 30 seconds on that side. When it's ready to flip over, you'll see nice little brown marks on that first side. The second side won't take quite as long. As it continues to cook, you may see your homemade tortilla kind of puff up in the middle. That is perfectly normal. In fact, it's a really good thing because that's your sign your tortilla is done and it's ready to take off the skillet. Okay, let's give this one more flip. And you'll be able to see when I flip it. See those nice brown marks? That's exactly what you're looking for. You see, as soon as I flipped it over, that tortilla began to rise up right there on that side. That is perfect. It's exactly what you're looking for. That tells you that that flour is done, it's cooked, and it's ready to come off of the skillet. All right, let's take the tortilla off. You're gonna do that exact same thing with the last 15 balls of dough that you have and make 15 more tortillas. When you're done, you'll have a stack of tortillas that looks like this. The first thing you can do with your tortillas is make what we like to call tortilla sticks. So you're gonna take one of your finished homemade tortillas and you're gonna top it. Guys, I usually use a pastry brush to do this, but my pastry brush is missing. I have no idea where it's at. So Larry, Christmas gift idea, new pastry brush, just saying. All right, so you got a little bit, you don't want a huge amount of it on there. And then you are going to top it. This is just a mixture of sugar and cinnamon that we put in one of those old-fashioned, like, I don't know, what do you call these, shaker jars?
Cinnamon shaker.
Yeah, cinnamon shaker jars. All right, the easiest way to cut these is to use a pizza cutter. You're just gonna go across it and cut it into strips. Now, all these things I'm gonna show you to make, I'm just gonna place them on a baking tray. I cut out a liner and just put it on there and so that it wouldn't stick. All right, now the other thing you can do is make them savory. So once again, now you can add, if you're not vegan like us, you can use butter. You could also use melted coconut oil. If you're oil free, you could. All right, so listen up. Get a fine mist sprayer, like a jar that has a fine spray on it. And you're going to add a little bit of soy sauce in the bottom of that jar. And then you're going to add a little bit of water to water down the soy sauce just a little bit. You're going to spray a fine mist of that across the top surface of the tortilla and then add your seasonings and they will stick and you will not have had to use any oil. All right, so this is just from Walmart, guys. It's just garlic powder. Actually, I think that's from Big Lots. It's Fresh Finds. All right, so it's a little bit of garlic powder. And once again, you're going to use your pizza cutter and you're going to cut that baby into strips. All right, put that on the baking tray. And then we're going to do one more thing on this baking tray and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Now you can make your own homemade tortilla chips. Grab a couple of the tortillas. You want to make them plain. Literally all you do is take your pizza cutter and you cut your tortilla into eighths using the pizza cutter. You don't have to put any seasoning on it at all. These are the plain tortilla chips. All right, we'll put those on here. And then we'll bake these off. We'll show you what they look like when they get done. I need a little bit more space on here because I'm gonna make one of these tortillas. Once again, we're gonna use a little bit of our melted margarine, and then a little bit of the garlic powder. And we'll make these garlic flavored. Onion's also really good to use. And you're once again going to cut them into wedges. All right, and we'll put those on the baking tray. I kind of want to put the cinnamon ones over there by themselves so I don't get confused about what's cinnamon and what's garlic. That could be tragic, you know what I'm saying? All right, we're going to put these into the toaster oven. We're going to toast them for about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, we put the toaster oven on the toast function. It took about 6.5 minutes or so, and they are done. When they're toasty, but not burnt, they're done and they're ready to go. Let's take them over to the table. Okay. Right, here's what they look like. You can see that they're firm and they're lightly browned. These are ones that I made a little bit earlier. They do firm up a little bit as they cool. These are the chips, the tortilla chips. There's those strips. And these are the brown sugar and cinnamon ones. And all I did was melt a little bit of chocolate chips and just dip the end in it to make it look a little fancy. One idea of how to serve it. This is some plant-based yogurt. Whoops. Well, that didn't go as planned. We'll put the other one in. There we go. And you can serve it, clean up the edges, but you can see that that would look very pretty for a fancy-ish dessert. Another easy and really inexpensive idea for your homemade tortillas is to make quesadillas. Now, usually we like to use cooked and mashed sweet potatoes for this. This happens to be a little bit of leftover butternut squash that I had on hand. So you're going to use that to kind of put everything together. Sometimes we'll add black beans, anything else that feels like a little bit of a Mexican flair, some Mexican seasoning, taco seasoning maybe. Literally, you're going to put that in the pan. Now, these are already cooked, remember, so the whole idea is just to warm them through. When you get done, it'll almost like be a toasted cheese sandwich without the cheese. In fact, cheese is normally in quesadillas, so you can either add some plant-based cheese or you can add some cheddar cheese or maybe some mozzarella cheese to your quesadillas if you'd like also. You can also make taquitos out of your homemade tortillas. So you're going to start with your tortilla. Once again, add a little bit of that melted margarine, add your sugar and cinnamon, and then roll it up. And you're going to secure it with a toothpick or two in order to have it hold together. And then once again, you're going to go ahead and put that into the toaster oven. When you're done, it'll be nice and crispy. And all I did was take the end of it and I rolled it in some chocolate and also a little bit of shredded coconut, and that makes a nice little inexpensive dessert. Now when it comes, I did forget to mention, when it comes to the homemade tortilla chips, I have also actually made them so they taste like Doritos, only they're much healthier for you than Doritos are. I'm going to make sure, guys, that there are photos of all of these recipes ideas and also links to the recipes. I'll put together a post for the website and I'll make sure that that post is listed in the description of this video so you can go grab those, okay? Now, I keep mentioning these homemade tortillas are incredibly versatile. I've got some more ideas for you. Y'all, Daniel got the quesadilla. What do you think, Dan?
This is really good.
All right, now on to some more ideas for your homemade tortillas. First, let's talk about tostadas. With a tostada, you're literally going to toast the homemade tortilla and you're going to top it with any number of toppings. Let's see some ideas that I've actually used. Here are some black bean tostadas. I used some Mediterranean couscous to make these tostadas, and then these are made with refried beans. You can also, of course, always use them to make tacos. Here are some soft shell tacos made with some spicy cauliflower. Along the line of tacos, you can use your homemade tortilla chips to put in some taco salad. I've used corn tortillas to make enchiladas, but you can also use your homemade flour tortillas to make enchiladas. In this example, you're going to see that I use some broccoli and black beans to make enchiladas. Remember, these are all quick, easy, and inexpensive ways that you can use homemade tortillas. Now remember, all of these will be on the website, as well as a link to the recipes and a link to the recipe for the homemade tortillas. I would love to know in the comment section, tell me, what do you do with tortillas? If you want more homemade goodness ideas, I actually showed you a while back how to make my lentil burgers. They cost 15 cents each. If you've not watched that video, go ahead and check it out. It's right over there.